me tell you guys a really funny story. Okay, so as you've seen, I mowed my grass, right? What do you think? It looks pretty good, right? But I also mowed the grass around my house, and it was really tall. I could not see anything, any obstacles, and yeah, I hit something that I shouldn't have. I ran over one of my septic vent caps. Yeah, and it broke. It didn't break the pipe going down, but I did break the cap clean off, and there was plastic all over. I had to go pick up. And then there was this, hole going down into the ground. It's where the gases from the septic escape, right? Really smelly, really stinky. Kind of gross, but an essential component of a septic system. So yeah, I broke it, and so I just kind of put something over it because it was raining soon after. So I didn't want to get water down in there. I just put a loose covering over it, but it wasn't like a seal of any sort. And the next day, I'm out there doing some gardening. I'm raking after my lawnmower run. I had a lot of grass clippings that I had to remove, and I didn't want them to accumulate and cause my fresh grass to die and grow weird, right? So I had to rake all that stuff up. And I'm listening, I'm outside, and I hear these squeaks, these panicked little squeaks. And I know it is coming from that area. I know right away, oh no, something is in the septic vent. Oh no, and I run over there. I pull off the covering and I look, and there are two little gophers looking up at me like, help us, it stinks down here, help us. There were two of them. It was like a married couple. They were so cute, and I felt so bad. This is like a 4-inch pipe, so I couldn't reach down there. It was like, 8 feet down or something. So there's no way that I could reach them, but I could shine a light and I could see their little faces looking up at me. So sad. They really needed help right then. This was an emergency. This was a crisis. I had to do something. Especially after seeing their faces, my heart was broken. I needed to do something. I felt so responsible because I had broken the vent cap just the other day. And so I was like, oh my gosh, oh no, this day just got really complicated. And so I start looking around. I start looking for like a stick or something I can get down there. Maybe they'll climb up it. But no, they did not want to climb. They couldn't. They were a little too weak. And I understand that septic gas is gross, right? They weren't getting enough oxygen. So it was like, oh my God, this is getting more extreme. Oh my gosh, I can't. They're not going to climb up. A rope isn't going to work. Oh my gosh, what am I going to do? How am I going to get these things out of here? I don't have like a grippy claw thing that's thin enough to go down there and grab them. And who's to say I could actually grab them? They'd probably just run away. They'd be so scared. So I was like, what am I going to do? I don't want them to die down there. How would I feel if I was trapped in a spot like that? So I kept thinking, and I was pacing back and forth. This was a panicked emergency situation. I had to do something now. These gophers were so cute. And, I felt so responsible, like I said. So I finally come to the conclusion, I need to use a vacuum. I need to try to suck them out. Maybe, you ever played with the vacuum and you stick it on your hand, like, whoop, you get stuck. You're like, oh man, woof, that's some suction, right? I thought, well, maybe I could just kind of catch one with the suction of a vacuum, and just kind of pull it out that way. And so the vacuum that I had at first didn't have enough suction. Wasn't going to work. So I got another vacuum, and the hose was not going to work. Just wasn't going to fit down there. It had like a curve in it. So I was like, that's not going to go down. They're still too far away. Oh my gosh, that was a really good idea, but man, I don't really have the right tool for this. What am I going to do? These poor things. Oh no. And I keep looking down there, and there's still one just kind of looking up at me like, please help me. And the other one was not really moving very much. So I was like, oh no, I'm too late. So I called my parents, and my dad brought over a shop vac, one of those big orange ones with a big tube, right? and we put it down the tube. We turned on the vacuum, and I put that tube down just a little bit further, and whoop, whoop, got two big things down the tubes, went all the way down into the vacuum, right into the chamber, right? They were safe, they were just fine. We got both of them. Oh my gosh, it worked. My idea actually worked, and the tube was the right size. They went straight down it. It was like an alien abduction. These poor things, they had never had an experience like that before, and probably never will. That was probably the strangest thing that will ever happen to these poor little critters. They got abducted by an alien. I saved them, but I'm sure it was probably the most terrifying thing that they have ever or will ever experience. They're probably telling all their friends, like, you are not going to believe this. And, you know, now they're probably ostracized from all society. People are like, you are crazy. There's no way that happened to you, right? But yes, I was the alien, and I used my tractor beam, and I sucked up these little gophers, and I saved them. And I felt so good. I knew I would not be able to sleep that night if I didn't do something. And I slept so soundly that night with a smile on my face, because it was so funny to think about me, the alien, abducting these poor little critters and saving their lives. I felt so proud and accomplished. I did a good thing. I saved 2 lives. So yes, hopefully those little gophers are gonna come up to me and give me a little smile. And hopefully they won't be scared of me in the future. I don't know, but they ran off into the field, and they were so so happy to be out there breathing fresh air again. And that I moved quickly as soon as I saw the crisis, and I saved them. And it was the right solution. There was no other way to do it. I'm telling you, this is a great idea. Just, you need a shop vac if you ever have a situation like that. And it's got to be the right size tube, right? The gophers went straight down the tube, just like their old den. You know, it was probably somewhat similar to what they do on a regular basis. They climb around in little holes and little tunnels that they make underneath the ground. But, you know, they've never been sucked up by a tornado before like that. So I'm sure they were thinking they were not in Kansas anymore after that.